Hello and good evening. Welcome. This is QTV News. I am Umudu Gajaga. Thanks for joining us. First, the main local, international and sports news headlines. The 11 days campaigning in the Nyamina West by-election ended on Thursday, and the GDC and the NPP candidates campaigning vigorously to woo voters. Also in Nyamina West, our reporter visited several communities to gauge the atmosphere and the mood of the electorate a day before the long-awaited by-election reaches a conclusion. Delivery of the much-anticipated OIC 20 new roads project is currently at its design stage, according to the National Roads Authority. Members of the Judiciary have validated and adopted their 5-year strategic plan after 2 days of intensive scrutiny and recommendations. And in international news, landslides and rising floodwaters have hit Guatemala, Nicaragua and Honduras, causing more than 50 deaths since Thursday. Today is the International Day for the Prevention of the Exploitation of the Environment in War and Armed Conflict. In sports, Africa's football governing body, CAF, has issued a fresh set of COVID-19 safety guidelines as African nations gear up for the resumption of the qualifying matches for AFCON Cameroon 2021. Those were the main news headlines, and now the news in detail. Welcome and thanks for joining us, and this is QTV News. The 11 days campaigning in the Nyamina West by-election, as allowed under law, ended on Thursday, and so the GDC and the NPP candidates campaigning vigorously to the last in an effort to win the National Assembly seat, which became vacant following the death of the National Assembly member Demba Sow. More in this report.
Campaigning to convince and entice voters for the Nyamina West by-election started on 26 October and ended on November 5th. The final day showed the NPP hold meetings in Katamina, while the GDC were busy in Papa. The NPP meeting was attended by senior government officials, including the Minister of Tourism, Hamad Nkeba, the leader of the GPDP, Henry Gomez, Du Sano, Lamin Cham, Srifo Samane, amongst others. The GDC rally was attended by the party leader, Honorable Mama Kande, and a delegation from the UDP, led by Honorable Abdullah Suku Singate. The opposition political heavyweights, Hamad Ba and Mama Kande, but expressed confidence that their respective candidates will emerge winners.
Not only am I hopeful, but I am positive of the achievement that this government has recorded. This campaign has gone through, nobody has been intimidated, nobody was insulted, nobody was obstructed. From our end, our people were well disciplined. We've done everything within the framework of the law. And I believe that everybody understands that we've avoided provocations. Despite of the fact that the disparate, the dismantled, the mesmerized GDC have been going everywhere insulting people. That has never been part of their policy of insulting and abusing people. Unfortunately, this time around, that's what we have witnessed. But we managed to control our people to make sure that we have a very peaceful campaign.
So far, so good. Nyamina, since 2016, have always been a stronghold for the GDC. We won the elections here in 2016, that is the presidential elections, and of course the parliamentary elections, the local government elections, all won by the GDC in Nyamina West. So I have no doubt, inshallah, God willing, come Saturday, the winner will be Honorable Yero Jallo for GDC.
In his speech to the votes, the NPP candidate Birom J.S. Sow promised to solve electricity challenges, roads and health concerns within a year if elected, while the GDC Yero Jallo promised to donate 5% of his monthly salary towards the development of his constituency.
The 3 key that I have noted down on my notebook are road networks, that's the health centers, that is the hospitals, and then the agriculture. These are key for Nyaminankas. I am very much hopeful. We are not just fighting for a simple win, but we are fighting to see that our opponents don't have their deposit back.
Certainly, victory is ours. Like Honorable said, previously, all elections we won. GDC won. So come to this by-election with the support of the UDP is going to make it hands down victory for GDC. Well, I didn't make a specific promise. What I told them is I'll be there for them, I'll fight for them, and I'll engage the government for them to do. It is their duty because we're paying our taxes to them.
Who will be the next National Assembly member for Nyamina West? We will find out who has been able to make the most convincing case for selection when the electorate decides on the 7th of November. Reporting for QTV News from Nyamina West in the Central River region, I am Omar P. Jallo.
Still on Nyamina West, our reporter Omar P. Jallo visited several communities in the constituency to gauge the atmosphere and mood of the electorate a day before the by-election. Here is the report.
It is a sunny day in Nyamina, and farmers all over the country are harvesting their crops. Despite that, farmers in Nyamina West have taken off time from working on their farms at least for 2 weeks to campaign and elect a National Assembly member to fill the seat made vacant on the date of the National Assembly member Demba Sow. Voters in Nyamina West are anxious for the November 7th by-election, with both camps expecting to win. Boji Jallo, a GDC supporter, said victory is certain for the GDC candidate Yero Jallo.
Konjimi kota mun andi Yero gagnot kari ko taki ko Yero gagnot mi Yero ko ligoto ko.
Yero deserves to win, and he will win, God willing, because he cares for the well-being of the people of Nyamina. Amadou Jallo and Demba Jallo both call for electorates to refrain from the politics of violence.
Kala gañiɗo yo andu tan ko hoddirore Allah oɗa wona mbo aña ko Allah ñawani gañiɗo.
I am calling on the entire people of Nyamina to avoid politics of violence. We are the same. Therefore, politics should not divide us. Demba Jallo, a NPP supporter, is equally confident of victory for his side.
Nyamina ko caɗele kewɗe ɓe keɓi wona caɗele tati tan ɓe keɓi kono caɗele ɓurɗe ɗe wat important.
We, the people of Nyamina West, need electricity, good roads, schools, and so on. Only the government can address these challenges for us. Interest in the contest is high, and we observe many people standing around or sitting in groups discussing and predicting the results of the by-election. Reporting for QTV News from the Nyamina West constituency in the Central River region, I am Omar P. Jallo.
Delivery of the much-anticipated OIC 20 New Road project commenced a few months ago and is currently at its design stage. We have been speaking to the Managing Director of the National Roads Authority to find out the progress so far. Mamadou Lamin Choi has the rest of the story.
The implementation of a 20 new roads project targeted to ease mobility in the Greater Banjul area is now being implemented by the National Roads Authority. The OIC Road Network and Expansion project is now at its design stage, a process that is projected to finish by the end of November 2020.
The inception report, which we are currently reviewing, I think today we should revert back to the consultant to tell him our views about, of course, what we think should happen regarding, of course, what he has put in the inception report. And once that is done, really he would progress to the stage where, of course, preliminary designs would be developed and towards the implementation of the project.
It is a 50-kilometer road project at an estimated cost of $50 million and is funded by the Saudi Fund as part of preparations towards the OIC 2022 summit. The world's second biggest summit is scheduled to be hosted in the Gambia in 2022. The OIC's 20 New Roads urban project is expected to have a lifespan of between 20 to 25 years. The quality of the roads to be constructed will determine whether or not the projected lifespan is realizable.
Going back to the OIC roads, they are going to be durable. The asphalt, they are going to be of asphalt pavement, the strongest, with proper drainage facilities where applicable, with sidewalks where feasible, and of course with street lights. So we're talking of real urban designs.
Traffic congestion in the Greater Banjul area has become a nightmare for commuters due to inadequate and poor road network and conditions. The construction of 20 new roads in the Greater Banjul area will commence in March next year And according to OIC and National Road Authority officials, the plan is to complete the project before the OIC 2022 summit. The proper implementation of the project might be a journey towards accessibility and wider roads for smooth transportation in the Greater Banjul area.
The reason why we've chosen is to enable traffic moving towards Brusubi. Why should they drive all the way? Why should people drive all the way to Lamin and then to the airport junction just to go to Brusubi? So we have considered to build this road so that bypasses can also be created for traffics going down or the other way to Tsukuta all the way to Brufut. I mean, in a nutshell, split the traffic in a way that will make sense to all commuters. That's what we are aiming for.
Part of the OIC road project is the construction of the 2022-kilometer Batil Harding Highway, which stretches from the airport main junction to Sting Corner. This is also part of a separate road construction project for the summit. By the end of this year, OIC officials look forward to securing the entire fund for this project.
Flyovers, we are intending to have them on the main Sting Corner Batil Harding Highway. I think we are proposing 3 flyovers for that particular road. It's a 22 kilometers road, and it starts from Sting Corner all the way to the airport. The particular, of course, location of these flyovers will be confirmed with the consultants and, of course, incorporated in the design.
For the design and construction of roads in the Gambia, the National Roads Authority conducts regular traffic survey. The latest among the reports was between 2018 to 2019. The main goal is to provide drivers with a safe and efficient means of traffic movement. Mohamed Lamin Choi, Qtv News.
Members of the Judiciary have validated and adopted their 5-year strategic plan after 2 days of intense scrutiny, questioning, observations and recommendations. As Alusise reports, the plan will be the guiding tool to address the enormous challenges faced by the Judiciary.
The strategic objectives of the plan developed by the UNDP contracted consultant, Consul Ami Bensouda, include having a strengthened judicial independence and autonomy, an upgraded and expanded court infrastructure, and improvement in the work environment, restructure and strengthen organization and institutional capacity, improve efficiency of court processes and service delivery, develop human resources capacity required for a modern judiciary, and improve access to justice. An assessment of the judiciary carried out this year shows that it faces enormous challenges and will be unable to effectively and credibly deliver on its constitutional mandate without serious interventions. These challenges are mostly attributed to years of underfunding, an outgrown and weak organizational structure, low management capacity, an insufficient number of competent staff, and the absence of important policies and tools that could facilitate the management or administration of the courts. The Chief Justice Hassan B. Jallow congratulates the participants for reviewing and adopting the plan, describing it as very important for the judiciary, government, and donor partners.
It requires the support of central government. It requires the support of donors. Many of the things here require financial support. And so donors must come in. Government must commit itself to investing much more significantly in the judiciary. The level of public government investment in the judiciary at the moment is low. As I mentioned, it's less than 1% for the judiciary. That is not really commensurate with the commitment to strengthening the rule of law. It's important that adequate resources are put at the disposal of the judiciary. In recognition of the fact that if you want to establish the rule of law, you must have a strong, independent, and efficient judiciary. And if you do that, you are investing in social stability, in justice, and you are investing in economic progress. So it is very important that we see an increased level of resources coming to the judiciary in the implementation of this strategic plan.
There's an adage that justice delayed is justice denied. As of 31st December 2019, of the cases filed between 2014 and 2019, there was a significant backlog across the various courts impeding speedy trials. This is attributed to lack of adequate judges, which is gradually being addressed. Salou Tal, President of the Gambia Bar Association, believes the plan could address the challenges.
Of course, among the issues that the judiciary wishes to tackle is the backlog of cases. I believe they have put in place strategies and action plans which would go in a large way actually reduce the backlog of cases and generally improve the administration of justice. I mean, in terms of access and amongst other things.
The leadership of the judiciary has the primary responsibility of ensuring the effective delivery of the strategic plan. However, its successful implementation will require the full participation of all judiciary personnel. A Judiciary Strategic Plan Implementation Committee, chaired by the Chief Justice, will be established for the overall monitoring of the implementation of the plan. The committee will meet quarterly to track the progress and challenges of implementation. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
Here is a press release from NAWEC. NAWEC wishes to inform the general public that the Car Power ship will embark on a replacement of its current ship with a new one and new generator sets. Work is expected to begin on Sunday, 8th November 2020 at 3 a.m. and will last for at least 36 hours. As a result, there will be some intensive load shedding in the Greater Banjul area, while some areas will experience intermittent interruption in electricity supply during this period. NAWEC solicits the understanding of its esteemed customers. Normal supply shall be restored as soon as the replacement work is completed. And the press release ends. We will go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, the news continues with some more local stories. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. Everest Retailers, one of the leading real estate companies in the Gambia that sells, manages, leases property and offers mortgage scheme, has relocated to the Senegambia tourism area. Jeneba Sonko attended the opening ceremony of their new branch and Sina reports.
Everest Realtors has a decade of experience in property sales, property management, rental services, construction and mortgage schemes. The real estate company is now located at Senegambia tourism area, which they say will be more accessible and convenient to their customers.
Everest Realtors is a sister company of MK Store, and we have a good team. In our team, we have a lot of Gambian people, Ghanaian people, and we give our customer service, selection, satisfaction.
The managing director of the Everest Realtors, Alvin Good, says the company is here to serve Gambians at home and in the diaspora to enable them to purchase properties without any hassle.
I understand that with the average Gambian, mostly they like to do payment plan with the banks. So we have upcoming projects. By early next year, I'm sure we will launch it, whereby you can walk to the bank and pay by installment while you're staying in your house for your mortgage packages. We look forward in delivering quality service as usual, and this is just the beginning. We have lots of more packages to deliver to you guys.
Everest Realtors has properties across the country, and tangible plans are underway to expand to reach every Gambian's need, thus their motto, Dreams to Reality.
We build and sell homes all over the country. We have projects in Bijilo, Kanifing, Fajara, Kirsering, Sanchaba, and many more on the pipeline coming. We are dedicated to serving this country.
Everest Realtors constructed properties are constructed using quality tiles, professionally painted with reliable frames and aluminium panels. For more information on the services of Everest Realtors, visit everestrealtorsgm@gmail.com or www.everestrealtors.com. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jeneba Sonko.
We will take another short commercial break and we'll continue with international and sports news when we return. Welcome back. Now to international news. Guatemala, Nicaragua and Honduras have been hit by landslides and rising floodwaters, which since Thursday have caused more than 50 deaths. Central America was hit by Hurricane Eta, a Category 4 hurricane that weakened to a tropical depression after causing serious damage in the region. Here is the report.
Guatemala, Nicaragua and Honduras have been hit by landslides and rising flood waters, which since Thursday have caused more than 50 deaths. Central America was hit by Hurricane Eta, a Category 4 hurricane which have weakened to a tropical depression after causing damage in the region. Guatemalan President Alejandro Giammattei said 3 landslides left at least 37 dead and thousands without shelter. Adding that mudslides around the town of San Cristobal Verapa, near the Guamatalan capital, had buried about 25 homes. Right now, we are trying to get there on foot because there is no other way, Giammattei said, referring to flooded roads in the town. President Giammattei also added that nearly 300 Guatemalan homes have been affected nationwide and that the rain is expected to continue for 2 days. 2 other landslides in Huehuetenango had killed at least 12 more, and 2 miners were reported to have also died in a mudslide in Nicaragua, and 8 people have been reported missing in Panama. Authorities in neighboring Honduras have confirmed 13 deaths, with Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez telling local television network earlier on Thursday that the situation is serious. It is shocking and needs to be dealt with professionally and fast. Adding that damage and destruction has spread across the vast majority of Honduras and that speedboats and helicopters would be sent to rescue people in inaccessible areas. Reports say a U.S. Black Hawk medical evacuation helicopter assigned to join Task Force Bravo in Honduras rescued several people stranded in flood waters on Thursday. The U.S. National Hurricane Center says Eta is forecast to regain tropical storm strength as it moves into the Caribbean Sea on a northerly path toward Cuba and Southern Florida. For QTV News, Lolly M. Camara.
Today marks the International Day for Preventing the Exploitation of the Environment in War and Armed Conflict on the United Nations calendar. We take a look at the hazardous impact of war and the importance of the day. More in this report.
The day was adopted by the UN General Assembly on 5th November 2001. Apparently, there is an old saying in Zimbabwe, when there is something wrong in the forest, there is something wrong in society. Human conflicts such as war, excessive and uncontrollable deforestation, environmental pollution, soils poisoned or waterways being damaged, excessive hunting of wildlife destroys the ecosystem and livelihoods. The environment becomes deserted by animals and lands have lost their most significant animal species due to the harmful actions by humans. When grounds are used as war fields, in the end, the environment suffers. A United Nations Environment Program (UNEP) survey has found that over the last 60 years, at least 40% of all internal conflicts have been linked to the exploitation of natural resources, including timber, diamonds, gold and oil, or scarce resources such as fertile land and water. On 27 May 2016, the United Nations Environment Assembly adopted a resolution to recognize the role of healthy ecosystems and sustainably manage resources to reduce the risk of armed conflicts and endorse its strong commitment to the full implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. Human actions has caused hazards from industrial explosions, release of toxic materials, climate change, storms, epidemic floods and earthquakes, leading to a hostile human exposures and risk lacking its development and efficiency. In South Africa, known for her cheetahs and rhinos amongst other animals, are in a vulnerable state and faces extinction. Most animals live on unprotected land, making them an easy prey in ongoing human-wildlife conflicts over hunting, bushmeat trade, habitat loss, illegal wildlife trade, and conflicts with humans. Various partnerships have been formed to address these issues. 6 United Nations agencies and departments, UNEP, UNDP, UN Habitat, PBSO, DPA, and DESA, coordinated by the UN Framework Team for Preventive Action, have partnered with the European Union to help countries identify, prevent and transform tensions over natural resources as part of conflicts prevention and peace-building programs. The United Nations Environment Programme, the United Nations Entity for Gender Equity and the Empowerment of Women, the United Nations Development Programme, and the United Nations Peacebuilding Support Office have established a partnership to collaborate on improving the understanding of the complex relationship between women and natural resources in conflict-affected settings and make the case for pursuing gender equality, women's empowerment, and sustainable natural resource management together in support of peace building. The first outcome of the collaboration was a joint policy report released on 6 November 2013. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
In sports, as African nations gear up for the resumption of the qualifying matches for AFCON Cameroon 2021, the continent's football governing body, CAF, has issued a fresh set of safety guidelines to address changes brought on by the coronavirus pandemic. The new guidelines were issued on the 4th of November via video conference, when CAF brought together 60 of the national safety and security officers representing member associations. The video conference sought to inform and train them on the new safety and security protocol imposed by the COVID-19 pandemic and to supervise the resumption of qualifying matches for the Total Africa Cup of Nations Cameroon 2021. The presentation by Dr. Christian Emeroa, the head of CAF Safety and Security Department, addressed, redefined and gave practical advice to attendees on the organization of matches behind closed doors and without spectators, the new accreditation control mechanism and new accreditation zones, the difference between upcoming matches and previous ones, and the need for each member association to have a good safety and security plan before the effective resumption of the official matches. Dr. Emeroa told the meeting, our goal is to ensure uniform safety and security operations across Africa, with an emphasis on making sure matches are played under a safe and secure environment. He went on to say, we are mindful of the enormous task ahead, especially in keeping spectators and supporters away from the stadium. Hence, we felt the need to guide all national safety and security officers and appointed CAF safety and security officers on best practices under these conditions. CAF's Safety and Security Department was formed in 2009 and since then has worked closely with the security officers of member associations through meetings, seminars, training, and capacity building sessions. Each country's national safety and security officer will receive a comprehensive protocol specific to each match, which will guide them through the various stages of the organization of the upcoming matches scheduled from November 9th to the 17th, 2020. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News. Before we end this bulletin of the news, let's have a quick look at our main news stories. The 11 days campaigning in the Nyamina West by-election ended on Thursday and saw the GDC and the NPP candidates campaigning vigorously to woo voters. Also in Nyamina West, our reporter Omar P. Jallo visited several communities to gauge the atmosphere and mood of the electorate a day before the long-awaited by-election reaches a conclusion. Delivery of the much-anticipated OIC 20 new roads project is currently at its design stage, according to the National Road Authority. Members of the Judiciary have validated and adopted their 5-year strategic plan after 2 days' intensive scrutiny and recommendations. In international news, landslides and rising floodwaters have hit Guatemala, Nicaragua and Honduras, which since Thursday have caused the death of more than 50 people. Today marks International Day for Preventing the Exploitation of the Environment in War and Armed Conflict. In sports, African football's governing body, CAF, has issued a fresh set of COVID-19 safety guidelines as African nations gear up for the resumption of qualifying matches for AFCON Cameroon 2021. That's all we have for you in this bulletin of the news. Thank you very much for watching and have a pleasant night.